Could it be? I don't know. It looks like. It sounds like. It smells like.
It's the Bob Doyle Show.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen.
It's the Bob Doyle
Well, I say that's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's really, this is my third attempt at this. And before I was doing it on my laptop, okay? Because I thought that was the best idea. You'd think, excuse me for the throat clear, it snuck up on me too. I would never have done that to you on purpose. But I downloaded this new software that's just exactly for doing this, and I sounded like a chipmunk, and I tried it twice, and I've deleted them both, so don't go looking for them. Stop. You're not going to find them. It will be a waste of your time. Now, I just click the button, and I think you're hearing all sorts of applause. And you should, because if in fact this works, it's worthy of applause. So here's what I have to do. I have to go to my timeline. I'm laughing a little because this is now the third time I've done it. So there I am on my timeline. I'm going to click the button. I'm going to go to Spreaker, and we're going to see how I sound. Hopefully. Perfect. I think it's perfect. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe we're going to finally do this show. That's right. You can clap louder than that. You know, when I first started this show, a week and a half ago? Or restarted it for the 18 millionth time. The whole idea was that it was going to be easy and quick and spontaneous. Well, it's taken me like 45 minutes just to get this show started because I was not going to use my clearly inferior headset that I was using with the last two episodes, which, look, they're unlistenable, I know, but they're out there now. They're on iTunes. They're a part of the Bob Doyle story. And now I'm using an iPad and my whole mixer so that I can go all the way out here if I want to. And we can have wind chimes in the background. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? I use wind chimes sometimes on my Law of Attraction broadcasts. So we add a little echo and little wind chimes. And this program becomes a meditation aid. So if you were driving your vehicle, you may want to pull over now. Be sure to look both ways. You know, inwardly and outwardly. Maybe it would be a funny idea to do a meditation like audio, except say extremely rude and abrasive words. Now, I won't demonstrate that right now, but perhaps you can use your imagination. Now look, if you want to participate in this program, you're going to have to step up to the plate. I cannot bring the plate to you. I'd love to. Number one, I don't even have a plate. Number two, I don't know where you are. You could be anywhere. Well, not anywhere. You're not right in front of me, because if you were, well, we wouldn't be having this conversation, would we? That would be silly. Not to say that I am beyond doing silly things. I think it's fairly clear that concept of silly is no stranger to me. Perhaps I'll do the show like this. No, all right, I won't do that yet.
What do you mean yet?
Well, I mean, I'm going to get to it later.
Why would you even consider it?
Why wouldn't I?
It sounds horribly uncomfortable.
It's not really that uncomfortable.
I mean to listen to.
Ah, well, you could have a point there. Now look, again, I don't know how long it's going to take to catch on, this whole show thing. Like, I know Dawn was notified, but now it's the third time she's been notified, and she's probably like, no, I'm not going to even check it out this time. If you're here on this page, good for you. Bravo. I must say, I commend you on your choices. You and I are going to get along just fine. Next time, if you wouldn't mind bringing some snacks, that would be awesome. Thank you. Look, if you're sitting there staring at my timeline, okay, number one, all this stuff I'm about to say, I know you're not hearing. So I'm just saying it to put it out there in the space because, of course, time is an illusion. And as I'm saying this, I'm saying it 5 minutes from now, and I'm saying it 10 minutes ago. So perhaps I can retroactively plant in your mind the suggestion of clicking on the freakin link on the Facebook page where it says I'm doing episode 3, yeah, sure, and then coming over here to Spreaker and listening to it, and not only that, taking it 1 or 2 steps further, clicking in the live chat and saying, hello, Bob, I just want you to know we're here for you. But you got to type it just like that, like with the, punctuation or whatever, so I know to pace it just like that. Otherwise, I won't know for sure that you heard this. I mean, because, other people could type that, but I won't know that they typed it because I told them to. It could just be a coincidence. It's just too bad that no one's hearing this brilliance. But, I am. And like I say, in the back, that's what I call the future now. I wonder if that's what happened in my head. I wonder if I said the word back, because in my mind I was thinking future, and I have such a close connection with the word future to Back to the Future, the movie, sets of movies. For those of you who aren't alive yet, again, I'm acknowledging that time is an illusion and that this broadcast will reach people in the future and the past. I can't explain it. It's, it's beyond me, scientifically. Have I put anybody to sleep yet? Because that's really why I do this show. This could be just Fall Asleep with Bob show. And I just broadcast like this, put on a little reverb, and just talk you to sleep by telling you about my day. It took quite a while to get set up for this show, is one way I might start it. I had to go get my iPad because my iPhone was going to die. But then I could screw it up by adding scary music to it. And then I couldn't find Lynn. I looked in the normal spots, her chair where she works, the kitchen, the bathroom. God knows I can find her there most of the time. But now I couldn't find her. And I was afraid. So afraid. Now see, I can't do this on the Bob Doyle Show proper, which really isn't how I should refer to the show, because that makes this one seem improper, which perhaps it is, but I haven't said any bad words yet. And I didn't set this up to be explicit. You think that would be selling out if, started letting the language just fly, just let this profanity just fall out of my mouth like my teeth? P.S. My teeth are not falling out. Okay? Look, how many of you have subscribed to me on YouTube? Now, stop it. Well, YouTube too. I need you to do that, but that's not where I was going with this. I was going to iTunes, where this podcast ends up. I have subscribed to my own podcast, and as a result, when I post something here, guess what? I get notified on my phone. Hey, the Bob Doyle Show, episode 3, yeah, sure, is ready to download. Can you imagine a life with that level of convenience? Wouldn't you like to experience the knowledge, the knowing, the assurance that you will never, ever, 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 ever wait a moment longer than you have to experience the Bob Doyle Show magic? Ugh, gosh, technology is so great. I wish I made money for selling the concept of technology, because I think I could sell it. I'm a fan. And I think, deep down, you are too. You may be one of those people who, likes to say, ugh, the technology. But we all know you're using the smartphone. You check Facebook. You've probably tweeted. So, shut up. No, that was harsh. I always taught my kids to never say shut up because, man, oh man, did I get in trouble growing up when we said shut up. So I just kind of learned that was a no. Look, I can't get one person in here to live chat. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go over to Facebook right now where this show is posted. I'm going to refresh my page just to see. We had such an amazing show today. Probably one of the highest listener ships of any show we've had. And yet, I post an audio podcast, and it is crickets, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, wait, first of all, I have to go public again. Instead of just broadcasting to my friends, which I can't change that in Spreaker, apparently. I don't know how. All right. Won't you please check out the podcast version of the Bob Doyle Show? It let me highlight it this time. Of the Bob Doyle Show. Totally new content. I wish I could write it so that people knew that that's how I said it. But alas, they don't have that font. Okay. I just want you to know also that I almost burped as if we had known each other for 50 years. I didn't. But you can probably tell that I'm managing the burp in the way that I'm talking. Yeah, you can tell when people are... There's just kind of a, kind of thing that happens where good and well that the person in question, they burped. Air got out somewhere. So we're going to go with burp for the purposes of this program. Yep, no messages in chat. It's Friday afternoon. What do you all have to do that's so important? Well, look, I can talk without you. I've been doing it now for 12 minutes and 37 seconds. And for this broadcast, I only have 167 minutes left. So I'd better get to the point. I got pretty close up there to that microphone all of a sudden. Sorry about that, ladies and germs. Have you guys seen the video? This is not what I was doing. I'm going to click on the link here. The video that was going around on Facebook today, I saw it and Lynn just sent it to me, and it's called Show and a Meal, where they're in a restaurant and they have projectors on shining down on the tables, on the white tablecloths of the tables, and it's this whole 3D looking show where a little tiny baby, I don't know if he's a baby, not a baby, but he is a little tiny chef. I'm watching him right now. Comes out, and all this stuff happens on your plate. Guys, you got to see it. Just look up Show and a Meal. This was posted by a guy named Trevor Donovan. Thank you, Trevor. I hope I didn't invade your privacy too much, but you did share it with the entire world. So, wouldn't it be funny if Trevor Donovan became a listener of this podcast and subsequently a viewer of The Bob Doyle Show, which, by the way, you can learn more about it bobdoyleshow.com. But here's what I really recommend right now. I got to be honest with you, the bobdoyleshow.com website, not really in great shape for being a hub for this show. Ironic, given that me and a partner years ago had one of the first web design companies out there. It's a true story. Kudzu Creations. You can go in the Wayback Machine, the internet Wayback Machine, go to kudzu.com. And just look for the very first incarnation of it until it became I don't know what. But, back then, those graphics were cutting edge, my friends. If you don't know about the Wayback Machine or the Wayback Archive on the internet, well, you must be new. But if not, well, either way, if you don't know about it, just do a search on it. It's real. Well, I don't know. Who really cares? Although you can look back and see what the Apple website looked like in 1999 or whatever. It caches. Why am I telling you all this? You all probably know this. If you don't, you can go explore it on your own. Recognizant. So, today's show was called Tonto Aphrodite. Why was it called that? Well, only you, the listeners of this podcast, will know the answer to that question. Are you awake? The truth of the matter is, it was just some nonsense name that popped into my head over the weekend when I was in Atlanta, and I thought it was funny. And I said, I am totally doing something with that name, Tonto Aphrodite, and I put it in my Evernotes for the Bob Doyle Show ideas, and today, as I was trying to figure out what to name the show, I thought I'll go with Tonto Aphrodite, and then we did the girl thing, and it all just came together in the moment. She was never designed to be Tonto Aphrodite, and quite honestly, I don't really think I can use her this way. I was supposed to say, so I'm doing it now, that the way that I did that, and the way that I do those character switch outs that are like that, is a program called FaceRig, which you can Google and learn all about. And you can download it through Steam if you know what that is. If you know what Steam is, well, first of all, if you exist, good for you. That means you're a listener. Which currently, as I do this, there are none of you. But wouldn't it be, so this, so now you're listening to this. And as I record this, I know full well there's no one listening. So I know that you are a future listener. So I thought a really special message was going to come to me as a result of this, but nothing really has. But I do appreciate the fact that you're listening. Whether it's an hour after I did this, maybe you're 2 seconds behind. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. Point is, I have no point. I guess that's the point. Let's go back to the wind chimes, right? That was nice. That was a nice, relaxing sort of. Isn't that nice? We should all have more wind chimes in our lives. I had a hard time committing to the word life or lives there, and it came out the way that it did. Now, if you think that the chimes are too loud or annoying, remember that if you were listening to this live, you could tell me that and I would turn them down. But because you refused to listen to this live, for whatever reason, even though... Hold on a second. I'm just seeing... Yep, nope. No one's even... I don't know. I don't even know if anybody sees this stuff that I post on my timeline about this. Hey, I'd like to be able to post this to the Bob Doyle Show page. Wait a minute. Why don't I just share it over there right freaking now and see what happens? Hello, Bob McFly. That's right, I'm Bob McFly, and what I do is I... What the heck is going on? Oh, it's that... Hold on. Stop. I'm going to get some crazy... Stop. That was the audio from that video I was telling you about. And I don't want somebody going, you played copyright music. No, stop it. Don't be silly, whoever would claim copyright infringement for that. It was an accident. And I turned it off immediately. I'm not going to take down the whole show just because of that. That's crazy talk. I gave you full credit. It was for your restaurant thingy, whatever. So just call off your legal dogs. Made me forget what I was doing. What was I doing? I don't know, ladies and gentlemen. Such as this. Oh, wait. Yeah, that's right. I was going to share this. That's right. That's why I was on Facebook. I was going to share this onto the Bob Doyle Show fan page. See how low key I get when I don't have anyone to interact with? I just go down, 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 down. and get up again. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, so now I'm going to go to my freaking timeline without further delay, and I'm going to share this. Share on a page I manage. Which page? Well, how about the Bob Doyle Show for one? Folks, if you're not listening to this podcast, then you're doing something else. So hurry while I'm still live. Post. Okay. Now we're just going to wait for people to flood in. I hope my flood insurance is up to date. Okay, enough. So, Tonto Aphrodite just was this thing. And the whole reason we did that today, the staff of me, was truly because we did that show on Jeff Adams' show yesterday, the Jeff Adams Show. So this was interesting because it was my first opportunity to be a guest on someone's show about the Bob Doyle Show or live broadcasting instead of the law of attraction. I think I've mentioned the Bob Doyle Show on a couple of law of attraction related interviews, but this was a different deal. So I was appearing as Bob Doyle from the Bob Doyle Show, and I may have some work to do on that, but I don't know. It was fun. It's very different to be in guest. Like, how do I, like, if I was really a guest, well, wait, I really was a guest, but if I was going to be like Bob Doyle Show, I don't know. I might get the reputation for being snarky or something, and I don't need any of that. Unless it works for me financially, of course. And everyone would know, oh, it's just an act. Makes him rich. He just acts a little abrasive sometimes. He's really just a big teddy bear, that Bob Doyle. People who know him, they just can't say enough about him and his teddy bearness. He, of course, denies it in public. You know, putting on that tough facade that he's known for. That abrasive, snarky, sarcastic son-bitch. Does that count as explicit? I don't think so. I just rarely say that. I just never really said it. So I wanted to say it. I may have said it once on a podcast, so don't hold me to that. All right, I'm going to go back now to Spreaker and wait for all of your comments to, what? Oh, wait a minute, I was looking at the wrong page. Hold on, maybe this one. Let's see. No, I'm on the right page. I'm on the right page, all right, and you're not here. I can embed it. How about if I look at statistics? This might be an embarrassing thing. Statistic, plays, 1. That's me. Likes, 0. Sources, none. On demand, live, downloads, none, 0, zilcho. But if you're listening to this, that means that's all changed. You know, it would be interesting. Like, I don't know if downloads from iTunes statistics show up in my statistics on Spreaker. I don't know why they would, because I don't know how podcasts work really. You may as well know that about me, that I'm not really an expert on this. I've been having my share of problems. But here's another thing that's being tested on this very podcast. Sorry, turn off the echo. What's being tested, you say, Bob? Why don't you get to the point and just and would you please turn off those freaking wind chimes? Jeez, all right. Let's just back up a little bit. I thought we were having a nice, relaxing time together. Excuse me. I didn't know you were scared of wind chimes. I hope we can make up and still be friends. You don't know this, but I actually have a clown nose on my face. That is a true story. If there was a way for me to attach a picture to this podcast, which there was when I created it, and I can probably do it after the fact, and I could easily take a picture and get it onto my computer so that I could upload it, you would see that I was wearing right now a clown nose. Now, another really fair question would be, why do you have one? I think Brad Yates sent this to me. I could be wrong, but I think Brad Yates, the famous EFT practitioner who was also once a clown. But we're still friends. I just won't let him anywhere near my home. That's not really true. The last time I saw him, he was near my home. If you don't know who Brad Yates is, well, I've wasted all of our time. Even Brad's in some way. I've taken up some universal time by saying his name. I know there's some quantum truth behind that, but I can't get into it now. Yes, I do. I just ramble the whole time. I was going to talk about other aspects of the show, like, for example, things I didn't get to today. I'm going to take a look now and see if there's anything I can share, because some of it I will wait. But I was going to, one of the things I was going to do was big, huge expose on the candy industry. Although I don't know if expose is really, like, expose makes it sound like it's going to be bad. But that's really, I was going to leave that up for you to decide. Because I don't think it's bad. But they are pulling one over on you and I. And I'm talking to you, Hershey. So we'll be talking about that next time, if I remember. If not, then I promise I'll talk about it on the after show next time. We talked about the 2 pilot volumes. Actually, Tonto talked about that. So I haven't watched the show yet from beginning to end. I've seen bits and pieces of it. And a little balloon shoulder on it, and I gotta watch it all later. Here's one thing I wanted to bring up, if I may. How long have I been going? 27. Yes, I'm going to end at 30 minutes. That's what I'm going to do. So 2.5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the home stretch. Freedom is nigh. Nigh? Near. Bobbleheads, babies. I called you babies. Sorry. Bobbleheads. Custom bobbleheads. First, it's clear I need one for myself, and it needs to be wearing a Bob Doyle Show t-shirt. That is a given. But what I'd really like is to find a company that will make them cheaper than all these other people, not for me, but for all of you, so that you could all get bobbleheads of yourself wearing a Bob Doyle Show t-shirt. Now that, my friends, is something worth saving your money for. Is it? Yes, it is. Because one day those things, ooh-wee. Now we step it up a notch, and then they get shipped to me, and I sign them, because who wouldn't want a Bob Doyle signature, which you can see somewhere in the book The Secret, in our biography section. There's pictures with our signature. Isn't that nice? Well, nice-ish. I'm going to click this button and see what happens. I think it's the chat window. Yeah. Oh, well, that was a waste of my time, since none of you are here to chat with. But that's okay. I guess I'm used to it. And clearly, I filled up 30 minutes with no help from anyone. Well, I guess I had a little help from Tonto Aphrodite for just existing, since that was basically the impetus of the show, was to do the post show, which I didn't really talk too much about the show at all, did I? No, you know why? Because I wanted it to be a two-way conversation, which clearly it wasn't going to be. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to the Bob Doyle Show podcast, episode 3, entitled Yeah, Sure, because that's about how confident I was that this was going to work today.
It's the